Intellectually engaging to think outside the lines with conversation about the nation that never leaves you blind. Take a listen and pay attention. Here is where you find the educational, sensational meeting of the minds. Yeah, it's the meeting of the minds. Meeting of the minds.
You are tuning in to Meeting of the Minds. I am Selah V, and if you are watching us via YouTube or on podcast, please feel free to subscribe. Shout out to our sponsors, Bprint, who made our beautiful website, meetingoftheminds.com. With us today to discuss cancel culture, which I'm so excited to talk about, is poet extraordinaire Christopher Michael, national king poet. What was it? What did you say? Lord Christopher Michael.
Great and powerful. Hooty hoo.
So he is just a national slam poet that just goes and terrorizes all the slams all over the nation. Terrorizing poets, bringing them to their knees, eating their hearts. Am I going too far here? He's a really good poet. Moral of the story is.
You can tell by his beard.
Yeah. Oh, the beard totally gives it away. You have amazing works, books that are out. Can you name drop those books, please?
Oh, Persona Non Grata, Nuclear Orange, Demigod.
I have that one.
Get more information on that from 310 Brown Street.
Those dudes sound powerful.
And universities bring him out. I've seen him perform at several universities, actually. But if you've ever seen him perform, you are in for a treat. He made a debut at my birthday and got to grace everyone with his amazing words, and everybody was so blown away. So Christopher Michael, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you. And the cancel culture king who gets canceled every week on social media, Evan Kilpatrick, a musician extraordinaire, cancel expert. With us today, Evan Kilpatrick, welcome.
Thank you.
You're going to give us some insight on how to get canceled.
Yes, I do it every day. At Subway, at the coffee shop.
We'll talk
in the
about
moment. I momentarily get canceled.
Wow, that takes skills. We'll talk more about it.
All right.
Yes, and my dear friend, my spirit animal, Rahel Schaefer. She doesn't want labels, so I can't. She's trying to work on labels, but if you're looking for guidance systems, you might want to seek her out. She it helps life forms.
Yes.
Life human forms.
Perspective, I've been through addiction, motherhood, career changes, all of those things has brought so much perspective and grace into my life. And so that's the perspective I lead with.
And I follow her on social media, and a quick perspective from her can set your whole day onto a different path. Yeah. So she's very good at what she does, and I'm so glad that you're here to join us today.
Thanks, Boo.
And give us your perspective.
Yep. Yep.
So let us get started here today. So we came up with this topic. I was sitting with Christopher Michael, and we were supposed to have one topic scheduled for today, but that kind of fell through, and I was like, I don't know what we should talk about. We had touched on this subject a little bit, but he said cancel culture, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. We're doing it. Let's go. So here we are now today. The most recent cancel culture thing, I hate doing this because it kind of dates the show, but oh well, is T.I., right? That's the most recent one.
T.I.'s catching it right now.
Majorly, right?
I haven't seen, he's being called out. He's being called out. I haven't seen anyone saying cancel him, stop buying his music or anything like that, but he is definitely being called out for saying that he goes to his daughter's gynecology appointments and asks that her hymen be checked to make sure she's still a virgin.
Okay, yeah. So pause.
Get your jaw back up.
Pause, people, pause. So let's put this on pause and really quickly insert what cancel culture is. So cancel culture, herd mentality. What do y'all think of when I say cancel culture? What is cancel culture?
Cancel culture and call-out culture are synonymous with each other. It's calling somebody out for something that they've done, a mistake, a poor choice, or just something trifling. Going so far as to point out this is an error in your way, all the way to bullying getting them fired. Sometimes it's justified. Sometimes it's blown out of proportion.
So the most recent one is this article about T.I. And I mean, when I was looking at my news feed, it's like T.I., 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 T.I. And I'm like, oh, for the love of God, crying out loud. So what are you thinking? I see some.
Well, I was going to say also to add on to what cancel culture is, I think it comes from like a place of like collective power, cultural power, corporate power. And I think it comes, that is what it is. I mean, we could get more into what it is underneath the surface, because I think there's a lot of like hate in it, like resentment, right? Or like a vindictiveness and like destroy this person. Because it's not like, and it's kind of like anti-dialogue, and it's like, anyways, it's a whole thing. But I just wanted to add, I think it comes from a place of like collective power. Yeah, whether it be culturally, social network wise, or even corporate.
Another phrase for collective power is mob mentality.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I hate mob mentality. I hate herd mentality. And for some reason, it always takes an even more ugly nature whenever it becomes herd mentality. It's like humanity possesses the ability to do greater evil or even be more judgmental when it takes on that herd mentality.
Because when you get into a crowd, you
can do anything.
You can do anything.
Well, that's how we fought wars.
We justify each other, and you can, not only am I'm justifying your actions, you're reiterating my actions, and then because there's like so many of us, I can also hide too. Yeah. I can hide in the crowd and be just as evil and as trifling.
But it's something we utilized out of tribalism to fight the other tribes. So once you're in that collection, you're not by yourself. You're ready to do everything with your fellow person. You get lost in it. You get wrapped up in it. So these people are, if they collectively are on this, attack on a social network or whatever, it's almost like they're at war with their brothers and sisters right there.
So that's the thing that. So I had an episode called Public Scrutiny. This is very similar. It's a little bit just this much different, and I'll kind of hopefully draw some lines on how they're different. But what worried me even on that episode was that, so now you don't really have to assassinate someone physically anymore if they're becoming a powerful leader. Now you just assassinate their character and they're done. So let's say you have an activist, let's say T.I. even, for example. Let's say he was active in getting a restaurant that was treating people unfairly, people of color unfairly. He was responsible for, let's say, getting that closed down. I'm making things up, kind of. Yeah. Let's say he was responsible for supporting Rodney Reed. Let's say he was responsible for standing up for a plethora of things and being involved in the community. If I was a diabolical master of wanting world supremacy, all I would have to say is, well, let me find some dirt on that person. Yeah. And who does not have dirt?
Right. Right.
Me.
Oh yeah, you definitely not you. But yeah, I can find it right now. But that's the point, though.
Then they can just take them out. And they silence their mission.
All I have to do is now is, because there's not any of us. If I wanted to take you out, all I would have to do is an intense little study real quick. Yep. And I'm going to use this and turn everyone towards you.
Because there's a lack of free thinking, not just free thinking, but effort into researching and finding out if something is real. How often is something reposted on Facebook or Instagram that's an article that's 2 or 3 years old? It's already been debunked. Just yesterday, I saw an article saying Betty White died at 93 years old. Then how did she make it to 97? She's 97 right now, but she died in 93.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Why did you repost that?
I remember that.
So she's not dead?
They're like, just kidding, she's not dead.
I immediately, I'm like, Betty White's going to live forever.
I saw it right before I went to sleep.
Searched. She's still alive.
Oh, that's good. Has anyone even heard this radio session that T.I. did that he said such things? I haven't. Has anyone heard the live or the podcast?
No, I read the transcripts. I read the transcripts.
It's almost like I almost want to refuse dissecting if it was right or wrong. It's like I almost want to not even tamper with whether it's right or wrong. Should we talk about Should we go?
No.
No, because it seems like that's almost even a little bit of the problem. But then sometimes you have to call wrong, and sometimes you have to call right. Where are the boundaries on this thing?
But you can be wrong and still be a human being and still do right.
Yes.
It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like,
and what T.I. may or may not have did is not right or wrong. It's more of, I wouldn't do that. I don't think you should do that.
I was talking to my husband about this morning because we were talking about cancel culture, and he said, well, what do you think cancel culture is about? And I was like, I think it's people wanting to look for sameness, and if there's not a sameness in what you're thinking and what you're feeling, then now you're iced out. Now I don't want nothing to do with you, because it's like it brings up something in us internally if it's not the same, right? And we felt like it's always been the same, and it's always felt this way, and now there's a one little gert, and then now all of a sudden we're like, oh wait, now it's not, now we're not the same, and
you
that's
are not in my tribe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I was saying.
But you should call out stuff that's wrong, but there's a little bit more, like, there's more to it in the cancel culture. There's like a vengeance. There's like, shut them down, take them out. There's the assassination, where it's like, you know, you can you can make an article saying, I don't agree with this, but it's the whole kind of collective mentality. That's how it's hard to control, because it's just people going wild, and then they're like, take them out, take them out. And one thing I wanted to mention was, people are trying to boycott as we get more bipartisan and more like split. You'll see like people will be like, boycott this, boycott that, on both sides or all sides. It's like you're boycotting, you're trying to start like an economic war in your own country. Like you want to keep, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to, like these are people that you should be, you don't have to support them, but to take them out, you're just, these are like companies within your own.
You end up harming the collective, is what you're trying to say.
The collective of your own country. Like your own economy is gonna do worse if you're like, don't give them any more money. If everybody keeps saying that.
That kind of stuff has a place when somebody has a practice or a policy that is wrong or hurtful. If Incorporated is doing something, not treating their employees right, I'm not giving you no more money. But if you have one individual who says something stupid, to then boycott the whole thing because that person said something stupid, then that's a little extreme.
Yeah. To me, it just feels like a distraction, right? Like it's just like distracting ourselves with something that actually, like, is that worth the energy and time? You know what I mean? Right. And it's like, what are we actually avoiding in our personal lives by boycotting or putting all of our energy and doing all of that? It's like, what's the real going on with you?
And is the cancellation equivalent to what the person did?
Okay, so let's So back to T.I. Okay, go ahead, please.
I got an example. Let's go to R. Kelly. Oh. So R. Kelly is a perfect example of not only being canceled, but probably proportionately and correctly being canceled. So I grew up on his music, been to his concerts. I love his music. It comes on. I know all the words, everything I listen to. And I'm like, okay, R. Kelly's tripping. Why should I stop listening to his music? Because of what he did. It's his art. But then someone explained to me, well, they can't listen to his music because listening to his music reminds them of what they went through. I'm like, oh. And then when I start listening to his music, I'm like, he was probably singing about some of those girls. So now I am no longer comfortable listening to his music. I erase it from my iPod, and iPod don't let you erase nothing. I've deleted it, but now it's like in the cloud, so it still comes up if I have a signal. But you're
haunted by R. Kelly.
I'm haunted by R. Kelly now. So
like many people are.
He's still you know, I canceled his music. I don't want to listen to his music. I don't want to be reminded, and I don't want to think about the people that I don't want to hear that music if it was made on the backs of the people that he hurt. So I support that, and I'm with that. That canceling makes perfect sense.
And some don't, like Louis C.K. Like it was over the top, because a lot of it's in the time, like the timing. Because you notice when Me Too was getting big, you'd see some people were like at the pinnacle, so they got it really bad. And then I remember like sometimes a little bit after it started going on its down end, you'd see stuff come up about like some of the people on the lower end of the loop, and they weren't really. It wasn't as big of a deal, even if it was maybe a worse case.
Not as big a target.
Well, it was like when the energy is going up, and if you happen to get called out at that pinnacle, you might get it really bad, like Louis C.K. Whereas it comes down, then you might start hearing some stories about James Franco or Too Short or something, and nobody really cared. They kind of forget about it because it was not the right timing. But that person still feels
it's not the flavor.
They still feel that cancellation. They lost, all this,
It's cyclical.
Social, everything.
Well, actually, we're going to talk about if you really ended up losing, because we see there might be evidence of the contrary, but pause on that over here. So let's roll up the window on them, right? Is T.I. wrong for taking his daughter to the doctor to make sure that her hymen is not intact when it's still intact? So at first, in my mind, the way that they wrote it, he's just watching over her to see, like, but I don't think that's the way it was. It was more like, Doc, what we looking at here, right? Yeah.
And how many millions of parents have done that?
I think it's different if he's like, yo, we're taking you to the doctor because we're going to get this checked. But if he's like going with her and he's like, because it's like a whatever checkup, and he's like, yo, can we like check this out, like see what's happening? I think because I've watched the show, he's extremely traditional, old school, the way that he like very strict, especially with his daughters. And so if we were to take this back from a mentality of a really long time ago, right, not in almost 2020, but that was something that was very sacred depending on religious upbringing or just the culture that you were in. So if I were to break it down into that aspect, it's like, yeah, that's crazy, that's extreme, but also like in some weird backwards way, it's a level of protection that might not be right. But it's like the
who
core.
Doesn't do jacked up things sometimes as a parent? But also, like, we don't know, this might be a huge level of fear for T.I. His daughter getting pregnant, and maybe he had I always make scenarios.
Because he's got lots of babies. He's like, don't do it like me.
So like,
don't
I
do
make
that.
up scenarios just so that we could look at things from a different angle. And when I do, I go like this, diddle-oo, diddle-oo, because we go into imaginary world. So we're going to imagine a scenario. Diddle-oo, 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 diddle-oo. So what if T.I. had like a sister, right, or a cousin that was telling the mom, no, I'm not having sex. I promise I'm not having sex. No, I'm not. And then ended up pregnant, right? And maybe he has a super duper fear that he just doesn't want his kid to have to do that or go down that route or has visions or aspirations. So he wants to know if she's lying or not. Maybe he has a fear. And it doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean he's going about it right. It doesn't mean that, but this is his fear and he's not articulating it well. Or what if he just said something? What if, here's another scenario, we're going to go back into imaginary world. What if just before the show, someone made a claim on his daughter, right? And because he's a man and sometimes y'all aren't always so smart. No, I'm just kidding. No, maybe he thought on this show.
Protective.
Yeah, let's just say, what if he was like, on this show, I'm going to show them, I go and get her hymen checked during the week. And it's not even true. What if it wasn't even true and he thought he was being smart with being quick thinking?
I thought it was a joke at first.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. What if he was that quick thinking? I know how to show them that guy didn't have sex with my daughter. I went to the gyno with her. We don't know. And then come to find out who backfired. Now the entire black community just canceled
or did he
I haven't seen any denials.
I don't know, but the moral of the story is that people are human, and what's going to happen is that you have powerful people like Christopher Michael that might say, you know what, maybe I'm not going to come and voice my beautiful, powerful opinion because I was about to cuss. I might just say this much of the wrong thing, and y'all just canceling people for nothing. So
but there's some places I don't go out of concern that I'm going to say the wrong thing, or that something. I mean, I think I'm pretty universal with my ability to write. Not every poem is universal, but my ability to write. And matter of fact, even my harsher. So I'll write pro-black poems, but I don't write them for black people. I write pro-black poems for white people. White people are especially older white people are my demographic audience. I'm talking to you about what's going on in my community. So I can move around, but there's some things that I might say that might trigger somebody. In addition, there are some poems that I wrote 10, 15, 20 years ago. I would dare not open my mouth to say those. Some of them I still believe. some of them, hey, I'm afraid somebody's going to shut me down. Like,
so can you imagine, Rahel? I take the show and I take little clips and snippets of what people say.
Yeah.
What Christopher Michael says is so powerful that the whole show is snippet. Yeah. Like I literally take almost every time he takes to say something as a snippet to use on social media. That's how powerful the things he says are. But if you take someone that says powerful things and there's this cancel culture, they don't want to take risks. Like, they'll look at the topic and they'll be like, I don't know. But then you know how much the people miss out because you could have ate nuggets of wisdom.
Yeah, overall, it shuts dialogue down. That's part of the reason it shuts the exchange of, like, ideas. And it's like, it's not like, let's talk to this person. It's like, let's take them out and be done with it. And there's a difference between not supporting someone or not affiliating with something. Then there is like a hate in your heart that's like, let's all get this guy and destroy them, like totally destroy them. Or maybe something was in the past we found. Let's just destroy that person, you know?
I want to hit there's one thing, if you do something in the past, like, okay, you did this here. Let's look to see if you have a pattern of continuing to do that.
Yeah.
Not talking about that person. Talking about the person who said or did something up to this point and then stopped.
Yeah.
And then 20 years later it was discovered that they said or did that. Now you're utterly destroying them for something that they said 20 years ago.
Yeah.
People evolve, societies evolve, our morals and the way we view things wrong.
That's so good.
Heavy D was beloved. Heavy D was a dope writer.
Yeah.
Heavy D was one of those poets, one of those rappers that your kids could listen to, your parents wasn't worried about.
Yeah.
But I'm listening to his old songs that I know the words to front and back. And then in one of the songs, he says faggot, and he didn't say it a nice way. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
we can't say this anymore.
Yeah.
So 30 years ago, it's cool. It's part of the culture. It was like, the worst thing you could say to a man, especially a black man, was calling him gay.
Yeah.
But now saying that is a horrible thing to do.
Yeah.
But we've evolved.
Right.
I'm not going to cancel him because of part of that's how the culture was then.
Yeah.
But he's not like that today.
Yeah. It just makes me think of a box, right? And this idea that, like, people want people to stay the same so they can feel the same, so then it feels safe, right? And that's just not how we are as humans. That's just that's not possible. I mean, I was going over my website yesterday and I was reading my About Me and that I wrote maybe 7-8 months ago, and I was like, this is not me.
Like me.
That is nothing like that is not no.
Well,
I got to redo this whole thing. So it's like, even for me, the kind of person I am, the kind of woman I am, I'm constantly evolving. Whether I'm choosing it or not, it's happening.
So now I'm going to cancel you for the person you evolved out of.
Yeah.
Well, watch. It's cultural to cancel people now. So watch me in the 40s, in the new 40s. I'm gonna start canceling all these cancelers. I'm like, that guy was canceling. Everybody is canceled.
If you haven't been canceled, you're canceled. So if we go back and listen to that podcast that T.I. was on, what if he had like 250 joules of verbiage and wisdom and knowledge, and then that one thing literally, and now I'm T.I. and I'm like, podcast?
No.
Never again.
That's not right, by the way.
All right, on that same example.
Yeah, let's do
the
it.
Same example.
Just do it.
Has Trump done anything positive for the government or for the community that's being completely outshadowed by his tomfoolery?
So why did you bring up Trump with Evan sitting at the table? This is gonna.
I don't know.
We're about to get him canceled.
He made a good point.
I think you and I had a conversation outside of Spider House one day.
Cancel is about to happen in real time. Let us watch, shall we? I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's just an example. I mean, you said somebody.
At Trump.
Well, you say somebody does something. He had all these jewels, and I'm not saying. I'm not speaking positively or negatively for the man.
No, this
but
is
I'm
a
saying,
great point. At what point do you say, all right, now you done messed up?
Yeah.
You know? Evan?
Well, you were saying like he's done a lot of good.
I didn't say he's done a lot of good.
He's been overshadowed
I'm saying how much is there any good that is being overshadowed by his tomfoolery? I can't see the good because
of all the canceling.
Yeah.
Oh, because of all the people saying he said this or he's doing that.
Because of what he says. I listen to him.
So now we're on the other side of the spectrum where you can actually say something so tomfoolery that it overshadows the good that you've done. So now we're at the different spectrum. So we're saying that it's kind of sad, right? That like I saved 8 orphans while helping an old lady cross the street, while saving someone from a burning fire, right? But I accidentally
farted at Luby's.
There you go.
Take her out.
Yeah, and now they're like, we're done. We're done. Right?
Disgraceful.
Right. This is it's over. Right. We just no more saving babies for you. Right. Yeah. So
I see that.
There's
or you can continue to say babies, but we're just going to remember this.
Or was the fart so horrendous that no one can look at you in the eye?
Cancel her.
Ever again.
Yeah. Right.
They're banned from Luby's.
So this is it's like so technically hard to like. I just know that this is a dangerous thing for leaders. I mean, you don't have to kill him anymore.
Yeah, they're trying to cancel Trump. Trying to take him out.
He's already canceled in some of our bags.
Keep doing it too.
No, so
2020.
So here's the other
Kanye
thing now, right?
Come on.
2024.
So
No, he's 2024. I'm for Kanye 2024.
Canceling, because everybody there are people, we canceled Kanye, and now he's at the top of the chart.
He's too big to cancel. He's got too much.
Kanye's getting called out. He's not getting canceled because he didn't do anything. He's great with the media.
He didn't rape anybody.
Maybe getting canceled.
Yeah, but people are getting canceled for the things that they say, not necessarily for. I mean, because
how strong are those cancellations in comparison to someone that had like a real valid, Me Too type of thing?
Hillary got canceled for what she said when she made the statement about black kids being predators. But she called them super predators. But she said that 20 or 30 years ago. She said that during the 80s.
It did affect
her.
But
that did have an effect. It may not have been the primary thing. It had an effect on her campaign. And she said that 20 or 30 years ago.
But I don't think it was just saying that. Mass incarceration was
a big
built
deal
on that theory right there.
But how many bills did she sign to make mass incarceration a thing?
Yeah, so the super predator comment, that it was more than the comment, it was all the policy.
Private.
That's from the Chappelle.
The super predator thing propelled all that policy being passed because they really thought that black kids were going to grow up to be super predators. So it was not just the statement, but the ideology that the statement
brought. But she didn't
spearhead
that. She may have been a part of it. She may have dipped her toe into it, but she wasn't a part of that. But even if she was, that was 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Biden was a part of that too.
It was the Clinton administration
Biden
that
is on top of the not everybody, but Biden is on top of the polls right now. They even have him beating Trump, but he was a part of that he had an active role in that legislation. But we're forgiving him. We're not canceling him for that.
What's going to be your definition of canceled though? Because obviously she was like the Democratic nominee. She wasn't canceled. She had a perception on her, but what's the actual definition of
canceling?
Yeah.
Well, like,
this is what I'm thinking is that, like, right, if someone's gone all of this time and now they're getting canceled, right, because of one thing they said, but now I'm thinking about, like, Kanye and Trump, where they keep showing up and saying the thing no matter what, and it's now not necessarily expected, but it's like...
normalized.
It's normalized. It's like, well, you know what I mean?
Well,
so it's like...
I want to normalize.
Yeah.
Because I say la vie, will not do anything for your opinion, whether good or bad, I vow. Because y'all will 1 minute be like, oh, she's the best thing since Wonder Bread, and the next minute, I'm Dookie Bread. Like, I vow not to do anything based off of public opinion. And so that's what I want to do. Maybe I want to be so... If you watch an episode of Meeting of the Minds, you will find a reason to cancel this show because I have people on the show that have a variety of like opinions. I
think it's like showing up and not being afraid.
On accident. Yeah. Sometimes we say things and then later on we're like, I surely did not elaborate on that, or we grow from it. I've watched the episode and I'll be like, I don't even think like that. You cancel
somebody and they don't get a chance to grow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not saying that.
No. I'll watch the show and say, oh, I don't even think that anymore. Dang.
Are you saying if they don't get canceled, then it doesn't give them an opportunity?
No, if they get canceled,
me and I already grew up
or utterly destroyed,
gotcha.
and then Bill Maher. Anybody watch Bill Maher?
Yes.
Bill Maher is a perfect example. He said the N-word. I hate that I can't say it on whatever. But he said it. He
You
said
can
on his
say
TV.
it.
Oh, he said nigga on his show.
Did he say A or ER?
I don't remember. But
Big
it was part of a joke or it wasn't so much derogatory, but it was part of a joke. It was properly used, blah blah blah. But it exploded. But what he did was he brought, I think the following week, he brought Ice Cube onto the show, and he brought Ice Cube on the show to address the issue, and he stood there and sat there while Ice Cube got in his butt about it, like shouldn't have said that, you was wrong, whatever, and he was like, all right.
Yeah.
So when you take that platform
and moved on.
When you take that away from them, they can't come back with any more discussion. That's why it comes back to the dialogue. You're trying to cancel the dialogue, and that's why I think a big thing on the left is, let's take this freedom of speech thing out of here. That's what I see regular.
When I was a lot younger, years ago, using the NIGGA was prohibited by people of color back then, more so than it is even now. Now they're even questioning when a Hispanic does it. Like, even if you're Hispanic, they'll be like, I don't know. But back when I was in high school,
I like when an Indian
as long as you were using the A, it was permissible. As long as you were using the A by people of color, period. Right? Basically, if you get called one, you can say it. Like sand nigga.
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah,
one.
okay. Sand nigga. Yeah,
exactly. That's why I like when Indian people say it.
But that was my iPhone. Plug, right? I need the
What?
phone
I use
company to pay
Android.
me.
Cancel. She uses
Am I still good?
Yeah, you're good. Okay. So the moral of the story is that if you take something that I did when I was a kid or how I walked or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Speaking of kids,
please.
What about that Supreme Court justice that they just appointed?
I have no idea.
What's his?
You should know. Everybody's trying to cancel him
I can't
for
think.
5 months.
He went to he had his hearings, and they were coming for him for what he did in high school and did in college, and my issue is not what he did in high school, not necessarily what he did in college. My issue of wanting to cancel him would be, one, will he acknowledge it and grow from it?
Yeah.
And did he continue that behavior into his 30s, 40s, and 50s?
Yeah.
Now that's not something you did as a kid. That's who and what you are.
Yeah.
And I don't want you rendering verdicts for my country based on that.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna cancel you because you did. Man, I did some crazy stuff, some stupid stuff. I did some stuff that in high school that potentially could have got people seriously hurt.
Yeah.
But that's not who I am now.
So it also, getting canceled makes you more popular, apparently, in some circles, because people want to see what you're going to say next, what you're going to do next.
It just creates polarity, you know what I mean? So it's either going to bring people in or push people out, but that in itself, for me personally, is intriguing, because I am personally not one to have a really bold statement to say. That's something I've actually avoided a lot of my life because my dad was like super loud. He was like king of cancel culture in personal life and whatever. Like, if you weren't the same, boom, and I saw that and I was like, I want nothing to do with that. But I just lost my train of thought.
No, because you need to elaborate on it. So you're down with cancel people in person.
In person, yeah. So for me, it's like we're talking on this big scale. And for me personally, I learned that from my father, and that's how I operated for a really long time. But it was super isolating, and I wasn't growing, and I was in addiction because of just this small, compressed world I was living in of like either we're the same or we're not. And it wasn't until I started to relearn and really see, I love my dad, but really seeing how small his world ended up being and how it is now. Sorry, Dad. Because of that, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I want my world to be much bigger. So now I'm able to look and listen to people and hear people and just be really, really open, whether I agree with it or not.
Yeah.
And if someone's, whatever they're saying or doing, as long as I'm not physically, emotionally, or mentally in danger, I'm going to stay pretty open. I'm going to stay pretty not neutral, but I'm going to be like, that's you.
All right.
That's
now you make
me.
that statement about being physically, emotionally, and mentally in danger.
I hate when I'm mentally in danger.
There's a lot of people who don't understand the difference between being uncomfortable
and
being
danger.
in danger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you microaggressed me. You said something that hurt my feelings.
The college kids.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I said something a couple of years ago. It was I know gender fluidity and gender understanding has been changing. Probably been changing for decades, but it exploded in the last 5 or 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I said something on stage. I purposely said, for those of you who have your gonads on the inside and the outside of your body, can't really dispute that. Gonads on the inside and outside of your body. Instead of saying ladies and gentlemen, I say gonads on the inside and outside of your body.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be more technical or more exacting than that. And somebody came up to me and they were upset and hurt and felt attacked,
threatened.
They're
like, because danger.
Because I was not because I was distinguishing people's genitalia and male and female. I'm like, huh? I didn't even know it was a thing yet.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Because if you don't know, you don't know.
Right. I'm like, and it wasn't. Hey, let me educate you on something. Let me. Oh, this is how our community sees this. Or it was, you attacked me. I'm like, huh? I did.
Yeah.
The young people are weak, so they can't take. And it's from coddling. The parents that coddle them, there's a book called like The Coddling of America, Jonathan Haidt. I haven't read it, but I know about the concept. But it's like, so these kids that are getting to college, no matter what side they're on or this and that, and they're just so sensitive because they were not allowed to play outside like we did. They weren't allowed to go, like there was this coddling of them. So when they get to this real world, kind of the real world, college, all of a sudden they're out of their little comfort zone.
A less filtered world.
Yeah, less filtered world. All of a sudden they have new ideas coming out, and they're literally, their danger zones clicking, and they're like, this is scary.
And now they probably have to deal with something outside of their tribe.
And they don't know how to handle it because they didn't grow up with enough strength, because they were just,
You handle stuff very well. So sometimes I think that you are doing things to get a rise intentionally. Yes or no?
No, I mean, like you said, yes and no.
Okay.
Or what I often will, well, first thing, I'll generally always speak my mind. Mm-hmm. And that will, where someone might sit back, they're like, I don't want to get a rise out of that person. Maybe I am a little bit like, ooh, I'm going to speak my mind. It'll also be nice when I get something out of it, when I get like some response. But I'm also trying to shake the box. I'm trying to shake the ego, shake the truth out of them, see where they stand. But I only say what I believe, and
so people.
Did someone do that for you? I'm curious.
If I try to get a rise out, I just want to like speak up, and speak
so
up.
he'll say something like, "Being white is cool."
Oh yeah, so that's me. So all right, so
I
that's
wrote a poem about that.
Yeah, that's so a lot of my stuff. I'm an artist, so stuff is in my head is it's like a response to something else in culture. So whereas if I look at people starting to like, white people starting to be like apologetic, like self-hatred, like who hates themselves more than a white man right now in this country? So it's like when you start telling them, oh,
being
white sucks, white sucks, this and that. And then I say, well, to be white is cool. Why not? Wouldn't you want your son to think that? No,
I get it.
But no, a lot of these sons are growing. A lot of the sons are growing up to think. Like these young white kids are probably growing up to think like, I hate myself. I'm an oppressor. I'm a killer. I'm a rapist. I'm a enslaver. When they're just a kid eating lunch.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, it's cool. You're fine. Everybody should feel cool with who they are.
I know that you're thinking like that, but I know that other people that read it aren't thinking.
What are they thinking? Because you're mind reading what they're thinking.
No, because did you get any likes on it?
Well, first of all, I don't buy into the agency of currency through likes. Obviously, a lot of people also don't want to openly like it. They'll come up to me and say, "Oh,
there's some things that I've read. I'm like, I can't publicly co-sign."
Yeah, but they'll come up to me and they'll say, "Man, you're killing it out here on the social networks, But I'll have one like, and they're probably shadow banning me. Who knows? But I'm also not. People don't.
But you have a tendency of making people pissed off.
Different platforms are different too. I found like someone like Facebook's super negative, so when I go in there, I kind of use it as my negative platform. Negative. It's not negative to me. But people get pissed off. But also like the people that are engaging with me. I don't know. I'm not trying to piss people off. I'm trying to speak up and speak up in a bold way, and I'm trying to, express myself and also make commentary on culture and society and stuff. And I do it in my own way.
So how do you feel the way that people respond to you when you do that? How does that make you feel? Because you get responded to very angrily sometimes.
Well,
how do you feel? What does that make you feel?
I don't feel a lot of it. I just evaluate, oh, this person angry. And I might just call attention to their anger or their emotion.
Do you enjoy making them angry?
Enjoy making them angry? I enjoy the truth coming out of the box. I enjoy people being revealed for what they are, who they are, And I enjoy expressing myself and not feeling silenced or not feeling like I can't say something I wanted to say. If I wanted to say something, I get enjoyment of.
Trolls do that too. Trolls.
You can't say that. I mean, that's a derogatory word.
Troll?
That's our word.
Is it? I don't even know what that is.
That's the first time I heard that.
That's y'all's word?
It's a T-roll.
I don't
we
even
call it a T-roller or a
Isn't a troll the thing with the red hair?
With the jewels on their belly button.
So I don't know. Teach me. I don't know. So it's derogatory. How?
To say the T word, I think.
Why?
Because it's like a thing like that when you're not really a monster. You're just more like a positive presence, shaking the ego, shaking the box.
When I say troll, I'm absolutely intending it to be derogatory.
Yeah, but isn't there? Yeah, that's
where
the problem lies.
But I don't think it's. But I've never. Is it derogatory to a certain group of people?
I think T-rolls.
I never heard of the T-rolls. It's
this
derogatory
is all new information to me. This is all new information. Which is interesting to come from you. That's like you're wanting to rattle the cage. So like I'm gonna say troll because I want to rattle the cage.
Well,
because I want to bring the truth out. Because I want you to feel something.
Who was the first real a cultural T-roll you think of? Like Andy Kaufman, right? Or is he like a
Is T-roll the same as troll?
Yeah, but we don't say the T word anymore. I say T-roll or he's T-rolling them. Yeah, but it's not like some people confuse it too. They'll think these people are online. Like they think someone just going online and being negative and saying, calling someone names and stuff is T-rolling. That's not quite. A T-roll move might be like a Lil B or Kanye kind of does it in a sense. So it's complex. There's different sides to all that stuff. But when I'm speaking in real life or online, I am trying to poke, but I'm only poking for positivity. I'm only poking for I'm saying bold things in a sense of commentary a lot of the times, or I'm saying bold opinions that some people might have in them that are scared to say it. So that's what I say. So when they come at me, you ask when they come at me with anger or something, I'm not like happy they're angry, but I am, content that things are coming to the surface. I'm like, why are you being so nasty about this? Or why can't you talk about it? Plus, I think these comment threads, this is how we need to talk. This is dialogue. Talking about humanity talking about humanity through text threads is not it.
This
it's
is
not the way to go. So when I do talk to people, I'm always open. I'm like, people want to battle me. I'm like, hey, let's go get some coffee and talk about it. Or even better yet, let's set up a mic, record it on some amateur podcast type of thing. Then when we're done, we have it. We can delete it on the spot. You can take it. I can take it. You can release it. You can edit it how you want. But we both have this discussion of an hour, 2 hours, talking about what we were thinking, rather than that's the other thing is I kind of mock the validity of those social networks in the first place. And if you go to my Instagrams, I got 8 Instagrams. They're going to be, it's more glowing. It's more positive. I'm not out there. But because Facebook is that realm, it's like, Facebook's like the trashy alley you go to talk smack. You can't
have a real conversation.
You can't have a real conversation. So I almost mock that in a sense.
Don't even have the patience.
I express myself. I put ideas out there, and I shake the box. You said you get
canceled in real life. So do you feel canceled by a lot of people?
Well, I'm too small to cancel, so I get work done. I make art, and I'm not trying to be like a paid artist. I'm writing a book right now, actually, too, about overcoming bipolar disorder. Well, I've been off meds.
Proud of you for that.
I've been off meds for 2 years, and the last tip of the iceberg was Christian principles, but energy management. So I'm going to write stuff. It's a collaborative book with my
Good
mom,
for you.
probably. Yeah, but when I was doing more, I'm still making raps. I have 2 albums coming out later this year, but in the local sense, there was at one point someone was like, "This guy's got to be shut down." I'm like, I'm shut down. Nobody hires me for shows. No one books me for shows. No one's paying me for shows.
Yeah.
How are you gonna cancel me?
So you have been canceled then?
Yeah, I've been like,
paid.
there's been people in like small local things around Austin that are like, don't let this guy do anything. And I'm sure there are people that are like, let's not affiliate with that guy. I don't mind that. That's fine. And I'm all
you're
for.
so resilient. Like
I'm for
that you're
affiliation
resilient because you get canceled and yet you still do what you do. That's
because I'm an artist. You can't take me being an artist. You can't take me making raps away unless you can't. You can take a stage away from me, but there's a million stages, and I'm a conceptual artist anyway, so I'll get on stage in my brain anywhere. And the thing is, if they want to try to cancel, it's like, it's not.
So the irony of all of this is that I feel like there's viewers right now that are going to want to go look into him to find out why he's being canceled.
Yeah. See, for me personally, like hearing you, it's like I really respect what you're saying, but I also think like there's a part of me that believes that you do want to get a rise out of it, and there's a part of me that if I didn't know you, if we weren't having this conversation and I saw you on social media, I'd be like, dude, this guy's like bored. Like he's got nothing else to do. Like he's just doing it because he's bored.
Can't I want to speak truth and get a rise out of people?
Yeah, but that's not what you were saying.
Energy?
You were saying, no, it's just for positivity and it's for this, and I really want to shake the thing. And I'm like, no, I think it's both. I think that you want to get a rise out of people, that you do find it fun, but you're also able, because of that, you're able to find the positivity, and you're like covering it up with like, it's all positive, it's all positive. And I'm like, dude, you're also doing it because it's fun for you.
Yeah, he says that. He admits to that.
I'm a multi-dimensional human being, and when I get on the spot, when I get in the spotlight, I have a multitude of reasons why I'm there. I want to purge the emotions that I have. I want to say things to other people. I want to make people laugh.
Express yourself.
I really want some attention right now.
People always say, you want attention. What's wrong with attention?
There's so many reasons why any of us do the things we do.
I just think it's important to own that. Like on a platform like this, it was like, I was just like, come on, let's get real. Like,
sometimes I put stuff on Facebook, I'm like, I better get some likes on this.
And see, I'm set up that way.
I have done things where I've said things intentionally to show how jacked up. Like let's say, for example, the church, for example, I'll know to the core of me that something is okay to say. And I'll say it because I know that they're about to have a connection, and I want you to see how you think, like how you really like. One time I said, Jesus in a masculine body and a feminine spirit, or something like that, which I could back up scripturally totally. Like God brings his people to him like a mother collecting his hens. Like I can totally like blah 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 blah. The many-breasted one, like I could just be like boom 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 boom. Oh, they had a cow. About it. And
I think you do much the same.
Oh yeah,
you say
I just said that.
Just to poke. I'm like,
I just said no. I just said, but sometimes I'm really actually this dumb, to be honest with you. I know you're not supposed to call yourself bad names, but listen, I actually am this dumb, where I'll think I'm gonna be a hero in saying this. Like, what a beautiful thing to state about humanity.
Yeah.
Like I'll say like Jesus, like all God's children, or I'll just say everybody's God's children.
Somebody, not all of them.
Yeah. And I totally didn't see it coming. Yeah. Like, I'll be like,
keep your prayer to yourself, you hippie.
Yeah.
I'll totally think, wow, what a beautiful dandelions were, a butterfly was floating by in a rainbow. I was like, God loves all of the creatures.
Because it's real in your life, and it's like I've met people that are like, they'll use certain words like Mother Gaia, and I'm like, well, some people don't know Gaia, what that word is, and they're like, they don't, and I'm like, no, you know what I mean? Like our worlds, So for you, in your world, that's really real, and the people that you spend time with, that's really real. So when you say that, and then someone's like, you're like, wait, what? You know, like it's like this reminder of like, oh, okay.
Oh, you know what? Getting canceled.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Getting canceled for because
well,
you don't communicate the same way other people communicate.
Yeah.
So perfect example. Y'all were having a conversation at the table before we started, and y'all were saying some things that sounded that would have been hippie, flowery, witchcrafty, and blah blah blah.
For sure.
But I sat there and listened. I'm like, nope, that's the exact same stuff that I say and do. They just have different words.
It's just a different language. I was telling my husband that it's like so many people, we speak different languages, and it's really being able to have. Yeah, and also being able to like understand that like I can communicate something to you, and you could literally communicate back to me, but with different words. I'm like, but that's just what I just said that, and you're like, but I'm saying this, and it's like this dialogue. And then there's some people that you do communicate with, and there's just no the language is not crossing, and I think that's where a lot of the canceling can come from, is that like we're not speaking the same language, and it's about finding the tribes
understanding that somebody's culture is just different from yours, and what you do in your culture, if you do or don't do something, it is wrong. It is morally wrong in your culture. But somebody else doesn't have that same culture.
So true.
Back to T.I. What T.I. did is not wrong per se. It looks wrong to us. It is not part of our culture. It is no longer the norm. It is no longer socially acceptable. But people have been, men and women have been doing that to their girl children for ever. Now, I'm not saying that makes it right.
But that's just the reality of what it was.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm like,
the
what are you talking about? It's not unusual.
What's really, really sad is that all this shenanigans right here probably just scored T.I.'s daughter a very high
it would hold her in high regard.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, 100%. You can see where he's coming from. That's fine, but you can also debate whether it's right or wrong. I don't think it's the best parenting method, because what I think she'll come out of that when she is by herself, she's gonna go nuts. She's gonna be a big like a slut in college.
We don't know.
Yeah,
and then there you go.
Robble.
Yeah, it's not. Well, no, it's just not. It's not always the pendulum. It's so easy to think if I do this, then this is exactly what's gonna happen, and there's a whole middle ground that could happen.
But I also limit my opinion, because I didn't raise girls, I raised boys.
Or maybe even uneducated about how you should hold your body doesn't really be synonymous with slut.
What?
Sometimes girls go through different phases of different desires, and it doesn't necessarily mean synonymous with being a slut.
But I'm saying if you're sexually repressing her in this authoritarian way, that's what, like, it's the same if you tell your kid you can't have sugar ever, you can't smoke, you're unrealistic, just say no. That sort of authoritarian.
Another example, your rationale makes sense, but you use different language that sets some people off.
And different,
but that's not my. I'm talking in my language. That's all I can do. I'm not concerned if they're set off. We can talk about it. But the last thing we need to do is.
The problem is they're not
gonna want to talk about it.
Let's say, for example, that I didn't mention it, right? You could totally get canceled about everything because you said that, and that's
it's not my job to speak 100 million different languages as I speak myself.
See, I disagree with you, and it may not be your job to speak different languages, but if you communicate, in order to communicate, you have to understand
the awareness,
who you're communicating to. Just a perfect example is I say when I write my black poems, I write my black poems for a white audience. I'm communicating to them, and I have to understand what they will and will not listen to if I want my message to get across to them. So you don't have to communicate to everybody, but you do have to be able to communicate to the audience you are targeting.
I understand that in a sense of persuasion and
so,
communication.
Like, can't we have some friends that like, I have friends, like, I love Evan very much, but I know that something crazy can out of his mouth at any time, and I love him regardless. You know, like I know
again,
that
it's all
Evan
matter of perception.
Like Evan can throw up words sometimes.
Yes,
but I still, I still love him knowing that he can have diarrhea of the mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends who have lifestyles that I have friends whose lifestyle I don't approve of. I don't like I have male friends who sleep with a bunch of different women, and I may date somebody who knows that dude is like that. so they assume I'm like that.
Oh,
But I'm not.
That always
but
sucks too.
I still love this dude.
Yeah.
Despite his flaws, his mistakes, his choices, which are his choices, I still love this dude.
Right.
And he's still gonna be my friend.
Well, that's good,
so
and y'all have
crazy.
love like that in you. But also, she's talking about what I'm saying, man. I'm not out here. I mean, who's gonna look at me at my actions? Who have I done wrong, or who have I
that's real.
deed over? Which woman have I hurt? You know, it's like
we don't ever know.
Diarrhea of the mouth.
But we can't discount that word's impact.
Yeah, that there's impact, or that like it would be easy for me to be like, well, I haven't really hurt anybody to my knowledge, right? Like.
Well, I'm sure I've hurt people with words that because they're able to be controlled by words,
right?
And they got their own issues. I'm just saying, when you talk about someone with some actions like this or that, I'm not out there like that. But y'all are coming from a different place, more of like a loving place, to be able to be like, I can affiliate with this person, love this person.
Yeah.
I don't have to agree with everything they say or do. It's because I have from a place of love and not like resentment and hatred and like. And at the same time, I think everyone should be conscious of who they want to affiliate with, and that's fine in culture. But when you're trying to get at them and destroy them, that's coming from a place of hate. When you're like, take this person out, destroy them.
I mean, I don't think it's always hate. I think it's also fear, right?
That's
and
the
it's
same thing.
scared. Maybe.
Go ahead.
Like I think fear and hate and being scared, it's like, yeah, they could all be connected, but someone could genuinely feel fear. It's like if I'm like, no, I don't like that person, it's not because I hate them, it's just like it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't have to be so extreme. It's for me at least, it's not always extreme of just like I'm going after someone because I hate them. I'm going after them or disconnecting, right? Because for me, the way that I operate, I don't go after people. If you're making me feel a certain way, I'm disconnecting. Whether that's fully or creating distance or canceling, deleting, right? Taking you off my iPod, right? Like it's all a matter of what I choose to do, not the actions I choose to take against this person, but the actions I choose to remove myself from that, right?
That's fine. That's great. You should control what you block that person. Take this off your phone. So I'm saying it's a difference to take
so
to
much
get at
more
them.
woke when they cancel people. It's like the more I judge, even Obama made a statement about it not too long ago. Do you remember what he said? Please.
I just watched it last night.
Yeah, me too.
He was saying that it's not that simple. Life and people are ambiguous. We're shades of gray. People do good things or good people and have good lives. And they'll make a mistake or they'll do something that they believe is right.
And you think the more judgmental you are, the more woke you are. These were his words.
Right.
It's like, you're not more woke by being more judgmental.
I'm not going to justify blackface, but there are still white people in America who have not actually met a black person themselves. So if it is feasible that a white person may not know how damaging blackface is. It's feasible. I'm not saying it's likely. It's feasible. And if I don't get a chance, like let me tell you why.
Call it out. Talk about it.
Let me tell you why this hurts me so much. Let me. I mean, there are kids now who don't know things, aren't aware of things that we grew up with. If my child doesn't know who Mr. Green Jeans is and Captain Kangaroo is, then it's possible that there's some people who have no idea of what damaging things that happened in the past and in the culture that you're reminding me of. The Jewish community has an entire organization to keep reminding people what Hitler did and what the swastika is, so it doesn't happen again. To educate them, but we don't have that same kind of organization that's doing that education. So people are, hey, there's nothing wrong with the Confederate flag. That this is about my heritage. Well, let me tell you your heritage. Let me tell you what your heritage did to me. So if I don't get to educate them, if I destroy them, or make them even more afraid of me, terrified to even want to come talk to me, then they're never.
You also push them into a corner, and if you cancel everybody that you don't like, they're gonna have. It's like if you had a little village and there was a bad actor, you kick them out of there, and then you say, "Oh, there's another bad actor, kick them out of here," rather than confront them, like you've seen those videos where they're like, "We love you. Why did you steal the macaroni?" So it's like,
I get intervention.
You kick out enough people, you have a whole new
you create another group,
that you have to battle at with war. So that's why the dialogue and the love is important. But also to bring back to what you were talking about, as far as like people feeling extra woke, they're playing a social game, a social status game, and there's currency in these call out things, and people have admitted, some people have dove into this and come back out of it like, man, what was I doing? You get encapsulated by this currency, this marketplace of wokeness, and you know, to play the social status game, like wealth, there's enough. We can all keep making money, but social status, you have to take someone down to get on top of someone. So in order to have that social status, you have to pull someone else down. So take that person out. I can come up as a more just, woke person. Social status is always it's always a game of. To rise, I have to take someone down. You have to do that. That's a bad game to play.
I'm like sitting here thinking to myself a lot of different things.
Yeah. I don't think social status, for some people, that they may operate in that way. Again, I just come in with a different perspective of that. That's just not how that's not how I see it. That's not how I feel.
Right.
How do you see it?
People rising through. I think that people can rise through by being authentic and just and honest.
You have to keep your eyes on the prize.
Yeah, because how you get there, you'll lose it that way yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, what does social status even mean if you're doing it in that way? It's not sustainable.
Are you talking strictly on social media?
No, I'm talking about like if you're playing.
Thank you.
Because my social status in the community rose because of consistency.
Yeah.
I've been around for 20 years.
And just being
I'm
you.
talking in relation to the call out culture specifically.
Okay.
I'm not saying just because you get social status and you become, say you're this virtuous
call out
person.
culture, tearing somebody down.
Yeah, I'm saying if
up.
you're using it in that sense, then if you're playing a social status game in that sense.
So there was this one,
and that's why you got to keep talking.
I was studying before I came, and there was a girl that canceled this guy. It was like cancel so-and-so, right? And she came up with all this fabrication on this gentleman, and she rose in popularity because of that, canceling that guy, and it turned out not to be true. And it doesn't even matter anymore because they're pretty much like canceled. So on one hand, we have people that get canceled but actually gain popularity in their cancellation.
Yeah.
You know?
There's plenty of actors.
And they gain a new popularity, they gain a new following. Some people love the rebel. Like I love all the people that have been, the people that get kicked off of Twitter. I'm like, who's that guy? I'm gonna go check him out because I know he's in this like, you know, rebel type of group, you know.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, your girl's getting censored on Facebook, so, you know.
Well,
feel free to subscribe if you like, you know. I'm just saying on YouTube if you like. Yeah, Facebook. So let's talk about this. So there used to be a time that I would post a video, okay? So let's say with like no shares at all. Let's say no shares whatsoever, I would get like maybe 500 views. Let's say not a single share, okay? Now it'll be like 22 organic views, like 22 that not that I'm not saying like clicks, like it'll say how many organically saw it, not even who clicked on it, just how many had the opportunity to even click on it, right? And it'll only give 22 people the opportunity to click on it. So then I had the Hebrew Israelites came on. It got shared like 1,000 some change, and I was barely hitting 500 still. I'm telling you, the more controversial our shows got, the less I'm able to share it.
Isn't that about ridiculous advertising in a sense? Because the more you have these social networks or like YouTube and all this stuff, they want more and more mainstream stuff so they can get big bucks advertising. So when you come at them with something that's anything religious, anything social, even if it doesn't matter what, to get into the point, it doesn't matter what side it's on because it's divisive in its own just existence. So it's, I think, probably about advertising dollars. So the more, if you're not on this mainstream, you're not like, it's not like a Will Smith video.
I was sending the link out, and I sent it to a whole bunch of people. Bavu, shout out to Bavu Blakes. Bavu hit me back and was like, this link is dead. And so on my end, I can click the link, it goes straight to it. and then on his you cannot, right?
I've gotten a couple of those.
Well, then it turns out that like I take a snapshot of mine, and on his side it's added something like a question mark or something like that, right? So here's the thing: I resend it from another avenue, same exact link, and then you could click on it. So then, even through YouTube, I can't just tell you like. I don't want to be the conspiracy theorist type who's like, oh, they're censoring me. But I can't deny that it's increasingly hard to share my content.
Yeah.
You know? So I got kind of discouraged about it to the point where I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore, right? Yeah. But then I just kept feeling, two things that I kept feeling to kind of comfort myself was that if there's one person watching, just one, that I inspired to become the next whatever have you, then isn't that good enough?
Well,
yeah.
Right? That's one. Two is that sometimes you can't stop the Gaia.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think just us sitting this table is good enough, even if there was no cameras.
Come on,
so
be beautiful then.
Yeah.
Be beautiful. Go ahead.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't.
So. Canceled.
No, go ahead.
Try and cancel this.
Go ahead, what were you going to say?
So, I mean, it's like, why are you doing it in the first place? What's your intentions? And you know, things are going to always change. Like in 20 years, the way that we're talking about stuff and delivering it is going to be completely different. There's always things at work, you know, and money and the corporations and the social networks. So it's like, where's your intentions at? And then do what you feel is right to do with that kind of stuff, with the discussions. I mean, it's so great because I feel like, I remember we did meetings of the mind. I went once and it was like in the 90s or something over there on the east side.
It was quite a long time ago. I don't think it was in the 90s, but it was the early 2000s.
Yeah.
He just keeps going back.
Because we started, 8 years ago? It was like 8 years ago we started meeting
in the
them.
90s.
It was a long time ago.
No, I mean,
don't
try to age me like that.
You're like, come on, bro.
It was like 9 years ago. I think we started meeting the minds 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying back in the Disney we did.
That was just a discussion, right?
Oh yeah, that's people think that I learned how to do this overnight. They don't realize that I've been having these conversations in the back of coffee shops for
and
years.
then I would always want to go, but I always had to work when you were doing it. I usually work today, but
we're actually going to start having community meeting of the minds again.
That's great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, at my crib too.
What day?
I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not gonna be as community as you think. It's gonna be a little bit more open than this, that like a lot more people can show up.
There's no Evans.
It's gonna be like the old, so let's talk about that actually, right? So I'm sitting here looking at you. We're about to go to the Rodney Reed rally after this, most of us are.
I'm going.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here looking at you like, should I be like, you come with us? Now, so yeah, let me finish being completely honest. Yeah. So in my heart, I'm like, should I say come with us? Because I don't want his heart to feel rejected. I don't want his heart to feel like I invited you, and then he's like, well, I'm going. And I was like, and you? And I never even said, you come with us, right? Yeah. So I want to be like, in one vein, it's like, I want to say, hey, you come join us, right? Mm-hmm. But you're so hated by the masses, right? Yeah. But so I have a choice in my hand, and I know the choice I'm going to make. I just know what mere mortals would be like. Mere mortals would probably be like, I don't want to be seen with you because you are so offensive to people. Now me, I would rather go for your heart as one single individual, and I don't care what anyone thinks about me. But I know, because if I'm a person that cares so deeply about people's hearts, most people don't. And I'm sitting here going like, do I really want to be seen with this mofo? I know other people think that way.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I appreciate that, but I can't be hurt like that. I can't.
That's
I don't
beautiful.
feel.
I want some of that.
I would understand that if you. I mean, I already feel. I would feel respect, gratitude for you bringing me here. So, I already know how you are in relation. So when someone, I don't ever feel left out or sad. I don't get sad, or I don't feel like,
I want some of
why
that,
did that person do that to me?
My husband's like that.
I want some of
My
that.
husband's like, it's always like,
teach a seminar.
I'm good regard, like,
Yeah,
my
if you want me
husband's
to
that way. He reminds me of my husband a bit, so I feel like I can, like,
we need to get you a seminar.
I don't believe in happiness or sadness.
That's
I don't
my
like
dad says that.
Yeah, happiness
My
is
dad
not.
says don't let anyone make you too happy and don't
It's
let anyone
external.
make you
Happiness
too sad.
is external, so it's not anything to strive towards. You want to strive for peace and
So
joy.
if everybody is like, we don't want to talk to you, you just...
I don't care. No, I'll go in my room and read a
My
book.
husband's like that.
Yeah.
I had some hash browns this morning. They made me happy.
I don't care if my mom was like, you're out
I'll
of the
take
family,
I'll take
I
it
would
all.
not
I'll take
even
the
care.
happiness and sadness. I'll take it
I
all.
would not care.
Really?
Yeah. I blocked my grandma from Facebook. I love
And
everybody.
then
I
me
love
on the
my
other
family.
spectrum, they don't
I don't
like
feel like
me
sad if
because
even if my
I wonder if they like me. I wonder if they like me.
if my best friend was like, you suck, bro. I'm done with you. I'd be like, well, that's not cool, but all right. I got all sorts of friends.
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
going to have to write a step-by-step book.
I'm writing all sorts of books. I'm telling everybody, if you want me to come speak at your university, I'll come speak. $500.
But I have to determine if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's good. See,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
good.
how about this?
It's-
I just
it's
won't go with
good.
y'all. I got my own car.
But here's
if
the
I
thing,
see you there, I'll
it's
see you
good
there.
not to care what people think, but it's also not good to not care what people
No,
think.
I do. Look, it's a duality thing.
Please,
I
let's
always
hear
care
about
what
that.
people
Yeah.
think, but I don't. It's like this. Like, I care how people perceive me,
Okay.
what they think about me, but I'm not gonna like worry about if I'm coming truthful, genuine in myself, and saying what I want to say and looking how I want to look. You know, I always want to look good. I might put something that looks goofy to someone else, but because I'm strong in what I decided to put on, they can be like, that guy sucks. I don't care what they think. It's like I care about what people are, how they perceive me. But if I'm being honest with myself and truthful, I'm hitting all the check marks, like I'm doing it how I like. I don't care what they think.
That's
of me.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I mean, that's the polarity that I'm talking about that creates curiosity, right? It's creating curiosity in you. It's creating this pool in you of like, what is this?
We're gonna look them up. I swear.
We're like, what is this? What is this?
All the hosts that are gonna hit him up. Dang it! I'm getting canceled. Shoot. Go
She
ahead.
just said all the hoes are gonna be looking you up, and she's like, "Shit, I just got canceled."
Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't care. There's some things I don't care, and that's like one of them. But go ahead.
Yeah, and it's this like curiosity of like, how do you not care? And my husband's like that, and for me, because I know my husband, so I'm just gonna speak directly to that. There's like a knowing and just like a knownness and a sureness within him that like that just can't be shaken. Like it's like I kind of assimilate him as a tree, right? Like the elements are happening around him, but he's fucking sturdy no matter what. And it has served him well, but also there are some aspects and some twinges that it doesn't serve him because it doesn't allow him to be open and to feel as much and to have as much curiosity. You know what I mean? So it's a twofold. It's a beautiful thing, and you're able to shine bright. But there's always going to be a level of disconnect with that sturdiness and not.
No,
you know?
I don't agree with that.
Well, I'm saying specifically with what I have witnessed with my husband. You know what I mean?
It's like
that it's a beautiful, great capacity to have, but there is some sliver of like something there that like.
Yeah.
So this conversation was so good that I failed to even really realize what time it is. Man, because I still have some other things that I want to unpack. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that today.
Part 2.
Right, for real. There's so much to this. I'm going to start wrapping up the show, but before I do that, I'd like to say that's such a lovely shirt that you have on, Christopher.
Oh, thank
Michael.
you. Thank you very much.
I
A little,
just really-
something I threw on.
Yeah.
I didn't have any real
Let's see. I want to
intentions
see
behind
the
the shirt. I just
There we
wanted
go.
to
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to throw it on. You know,
Yeah.
nothing special.
It's such
Just-
an amazing shirt.
Yeah.
To speak on that, in 2021, I'm only wearing gray.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a nice
2021?
shirt. Is that,
It really
what are
is.
y'all doing with that?
So 3rd Brown Street, he has his
310.
own. I meant to say that. I meant to say 310 Brown Street.
Publishing.
310. Yeah, he's a publishing company.
I got some poems.
Oh, really? We'll
Put
send
them
it to
on
his
there.
publishing company.
I write them specifically for old white people as well.
Hey! Plug.
Touche.
Oh God, if you're listening, help. Okay, so I really want us to be wary about cancel culture because we might be canceling the wrong people. And not only that, even canceling people before they even came to step up to the culture. So we need to think about it. Like when somebody makes a move, some of these posts that I've seen, like T.I. has done a lot of great things in the community, a lot of great things for the community. And of course, there's things sometimes that he's not going to do that is amazing or the best. But people were like saying he's the most awful thing that's ever happened ever. Like, I mean, come on, man. I don't know about all that.
I think that's silly.
It's a little bit over. But we need to consider that how we are being used as sheep. Like, social media can make everybody's head turn this way, and then they're going this way, and then heads turn this way and go this way. And literally, it is known that Facebook or other social media, I'm not sure, I don't want to say for sure because I don't want to be sued, but that they, do all kinds of tests, not tests, but what is it? They use Facebook to run almost like tests. What's the word?
Social engineering.
Social
simulations and algorithms and all that
Thank
kind
you.
of stuff.
Yeah, and to know, how we think, and a lot of that is for marketing, but also quantifying our behaviors into ones and zeros can actually
because attention has become the currency. Attention is the currency.
It could totally
so it's like,
prove
how
to
do
be
we
very.
how do we move people's attention, and how do we get them addicted to us, and how do we get their attention locked in
or distracted?
Yeah, and totally can prove to be dangerous, which maybe we should have a meeting of the minds about as well. So I would just like to say thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for our guests. Thank you for being here. I really, truly appreciate it. I'm sorry that we're having to close out so abruptly, but hopefully we'll be having some community meetings. If you're in the local area, you might feel free in looking into possibly to attend. I have to watch how I say it because, no call to actions or whatever. Below is our beautiful website brought to you by B-Print. Also, if you like podcasts, we are available on podcast and we are available on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for our director, Charles, in the back doing his thing to bring us and platform such beautiful, beautiful people and guests. Until the next time we see you again, I am C'est La Vie, and this is Meeting of the Minds.
Free read.
Intellectually engaging to think outside the lines with conversation about the nation that never leaves you blind. Take a listen and pay attention. Here is where you find the educational, sensational meeting of the minds. Yeah, it's the meeting of the minds. Meeting of the minds.